parents and all of that, man, which they're devils anyway, but that's Esau's nature. Alright, they're estranged from the womb, man. Right? It's devils breeding devils, man. Right? Since the wicked are estranged from the womb, they go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They're like the deaf adder that stupid the air, right? Which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. It says break their teeth, right? So break their power, man. Break their military strength. Alright? It says break their teeth, right? O power in their mouth, break the teeth of the young lions, right? Let them melt away as the water which runneth continually, right? When he bendeth his bow to shoot, right? Let them be cut in pieces as a snail melteth, right? Which as a snail melteth, let every one of them pass away like the untimely birth of a woman. So ultimately, man, all of these Edomites that you see walking around with their pride and all of that, man, ultimately they're gonna be destroyed, man. They're gonna be wiped off the face of the earth, man. That's your future, man. Right? Ultimately, you're gonna melt away as a snail, man. Right? You're gonna wither away like a dry herb, man. That's your future. That's the future of you Edomites. Because after your hardcore 1,000 years of slavery, man, all right, you're gonna be bound and burnt, and that's in the book of Obadiah, man. All right, that's spoken about in the book of Obadiah. All right. It says, "As a snail which melteth, let every one of them pass away, like the untimely birth of a woman." Right? That they may not see the sun, right? No, before they, and let me jump to the point. It says, "The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance; he shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked." So it's gonna be so much after you Edomites is gonna be wiped off, man. It's gonna be a damn beautiful thing, man. It's gonna be like you're gonna be walking in the blood of the wicked, man. So that's how much you Edomites is gonna be wiped off of the face of the earth in one day, man. All right. Right. So that a man shall say, "Verily, there is a reward." Right? Verily he is a God that judges the earth. Right? Now let me get back onto what I had before, man. It's back in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter. Right? It's back in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter. And the third verse, it says, "I've commanded my sanctified ones, right, for mine anger, even them that rejoice in mine highness," right? "The noise of a multitude, in the mountains, like a great people," right? A tumultuous noise, right, of kingdoms and nations gathered together, right? The Lord of hosts masters up the battle. So what the Most High is doing with these nations right now, he's putting it in their spirit, right, to where they're going to gather, right, in the valley which is known as the Valley of Judgment, man, which is known as the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man, right, which ultimately that's going to turn into Armageddon, right, when you translate it from the Hebrew, man, that's the mountain of troops. Why? Because of the precept I just pulled out before, right, the righteous is going to wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. Guess what, man? That mountain of troops is gonna be all. It's gonna be all of you Edomite nations coming up against the Russian nations and the Chinese nations. Because the only winner of the Third World War is gonna be the nation of people that weren't involved in that, right? Which is the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. See, all of these other nations gonna play a part in that World War III. But ultimately, the deciding factor is gonna be Yahweh, man. Ultimately, Yahweh. Right, who's set it out from the foundations of the earth, that when you go off into your World War III, he's gonna step in and destroy your whole power structure, man. All right, this is back in fact, I wanted to jump into the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter. Right, this is Joel 3:1. It says, "For in those days and in that time, I will bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." Right, which has been kind of like the undertone, a message, a concept, so to speak, right, of the scriptures that's coming out, man. Right, and that's the bringing again, right, of the captivity of the house of Judah and the house of Israel, man. right? Meaning the Most High is going to take him away, man. He's going to take him out of that. Like I read in Revelation 13 chapter on the 9th verse, he that leadeth into captivity shall go back into captivity. He shall go into captivity, right? And I said go back because really prior to the times that we're in right now, we had Esau in slavery, man. That's where he put us. That's where he made it a point to put us to slavery. But ultimately, if we had the power with the Spirit with us, man, he wouldn't have been able to accomplish the things that he's been doing on the earth right now. Because we would have. He's a no person, man. We would have crushed him. All right, but the Most High put it within his spirit, right, to allow him to do his wickedness, right. But when he's taken out of power, we gonna realize, look, man, it's good. It's a good thing that the Most High put the righteous back in power because the people ain't gonna be mourning like they are, man. Right now, you got to where all kinds of diseases are running rampant, man. Right, you got it to where all kind of havoc is happening all over the world. Why? Because the wicked are in rulership, man. All right, the wicked are in rulership. All right, but like the scripture says, when the righteous are in rulership, the people are gonna rejoice, man. You know, Ammon's gonna have his little piece. All right, Moab's gonna have his little piece. Ishmael's gonna have his little piece. All right, we're gonna tax them heavy. All right, but ultimately they're gonna have their own thing, man. They're gonna be doing their own thing, man. They're gonna be all right. Right after they serve their 1,000 years of slavery. As for Esau, right after he serves his time, it's gonna be bound and burnt, man. Like it does say of the scriptures in the book of Matthew, the 13th chapter. All right. Back in the book of Joel 3:2, I said, I will also gather. I'll let that pass. Right, it says, I will also gather all nations, and I'll bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'll plead with them there, right, for my people and for my heritage, Israel. So the Most High is going to plead with all the nations of the earth, right, for our sake, right, for the sake of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, for the sake of the real Israelites. He's going to plead with them, right, and he's gathering them right now. They're all getting together, right, and trying to, playing their proxy wars and so on and so forth, and all that. Right? The Most High is gathering them all together right now, and guess what, man? Right? He's doing that for us, man. He's doing that for the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and all of Israel scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right? I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'll plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, right, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. So, going back into the time of the Romans, the Greeks and the Romans, all right, when they went in there, man, we had to, the scripture said in the book of Revelations, we had to run away from that land, man. We had to go hide in the mountains, man, which was in the interiors of Africa, in the west coast of Africa. That's where you still got a lot of Jakes out there, in places like Ghana, right, Nigeria, and that, man. There's a lot of Jakes still there, all right. They went up into that land for a period of time, but after that, Esau went up in power, but like the scripture says, he had a deadly wound for a period of time. So we came back into power, but now he's back in power, but this time he's not gonna go back in power when he gets taken out. All right, it says there, man. For they have who they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. So after we was taken out of that land, they basically said, them so-called Jews went in there, and they said they were the Jews, man. They took the land of the Most High. All right. Ultimately, they're gonna be burnt and boiled. They're gonna be boiled, man. They're gonna be melted. Them gutter rats, man. All right. They're gonna be them Iranians. Right, are gonna have they're gonna have a good play around with them so-called Jews, man. They're gonna mess with them so-called Jews, man. All right, and when what was one of the reasons they're gonna do that, man? They're gonna do that, right? Because they've defiled the land. They're having kosher pig and all of that kind of madness, right there. They're gonna waste the land because they've defiled the land that they're in, man. All right, and when the if I remember the history correctly, I believe they might have been another group of people that was in that land, but they didn't keep the laws of the land, right? So the Most High kept on putting curses upon them, and that's what happening with them so-called Jews right now. They're in that land, but they don't keep the laws, right, that pertain to that land, right? Namely, the scriptures, the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, the 613 laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. They don't keep to that. Guess what, man? right? They're gonna be destroyed because of that. Right? Not only because of that, they Edomites anyway. They're gonna be wiped off the face any goddamn way. All right, they're the chief house of Esau, man. They're the most wickedest people, right, that walk the earth, man. They are the devil incarnate, man. Right? Says here, I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst nations and parted my land. They have cast lots for my people, right, and give him a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink. It says, yea, right, what ye have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and the coast of Philistines, which will ye render me a recompense? It says, will ye plead? And furthermore, it says, will ye render me a recompense, and will ye recompense me swiftly, right, and speedily, and return your recompense upon your head? So ye have taken my silver and my gold, and carried them into your temples, and my goodly pleasures, right? Somebody, right, them Hamitic nations, man, that rolled up into our land, man, and took our riches and gold and our silver and all of that, man. Right, the Most High is gonna get them. All right, it says there, right, and the children. I believe I'll be correct in. I think it's Tyre and Zidon, which is them Hamitic nations. I could be wrong. All right, but it probably is. It says, and the children of Judah, the children of Jerusalem, have ye sold unto the Grecians, right? That ye might remove them far from their border. It says, behold, I will raise them out, right, of the place whither ye have sold them, right? And I will return your recompense unto your own head. It says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters. See, this is your future. You want to talk about what you're gonna do in 10 years, right? 12 years, right? All of that. This is what's gonna happen in your 10 years and your 12 years and all of that, man. See, really, the best thing for you, right, is to enjoy yourself, man. Get a credit card, max the credit card out, man. Burn them, burn all the money you can, right? Because this is the last time you're gonna ever have any kind of pleasure, man. This is the last time you're gonna have your smiles, man. See, I don't have a problem, right, with Esau being happy, man. I don't even have a problem with Esau being proud, man. That is your nature, right? This is your kingdom. Right, have your pride in your kingdom. Guess what? Because guess what, man? The future that's been set for you, man. Man, it's gonna be so much hell that's gonna be put upon the Edomites, man. It's gonna be grievous, man. The scripture says, when I go back into Isaiah the 13th chapter, man. Right, the scripture says, man, happy is he that dasheth the little ones amongst the stones, man. See, little Edomite babies, man. You see, proud, man. You can see the real devil within them. Man, they're gonna be like stones, man. They're gonna be dashed against the wall. All right, they're gonna have it to where, man, they're gonna have so much. They're gonna get so much hell put upon them, man. Right, it's gonna be terrible, man. It's gonna be terrible for you, Edomites. So that's why I'm like, yo, man, you Edomites, man, just enjoy yourselves, man. Right, have a good old time. Have a good old Edomite time, man. Right, do your Edomite stuff, man. Right, your Jaeger bombs and all of that. Have all of that, man. Right, because at the end of this year, man, that might be all done, man. Hell, at the end of this month, Lord's will, man, that'll be a thing of the past, man. Right, because your monetary system, that's breaking down as we speak, man. They're talking about this thing in Greece, man. Right, when that goes down, guess what, man? That's going to destabilize the European economy. Right, once the European economy is destabilized, guess what? Right, the dollar is going to be naturally destabilized. All right, and you seeing these Greece, what they're doing with the sanctions on Russia, right? Guess what? It ain't gonna be sanctions when the European economy goes down, man. Right? It ain't gonna be sanctions when the American dollar goes down. Right? They're gonna have to make more stringent moves, man. More low risk, right? High taking, high gain maneuvers, man. Namely, to go into Russia and take full control of Europe, man. The goods that are in Europe, and the principal good that they want over there is that oil, man, that black diamonds. They want to go there and take all the resources that's in Europe. But when you go up into Russia, man, you're gonna find out the Russians ain't about them games, man. Right? See, the Russians gonna send them, gonna join with their forces, man. See, the Russians have been a strength to all of these little nations before, man. But now they're remembering the old nature, and the Arabs also are remembering the old nature, and they can be like, damn, man, we're done with America, man. Right? That's it, man. We can't take no more, man. They're gonna press their red buttons, man. All right. So it says there, man, all right? And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah. See, you sold our sons and daughters, man. Hell, the Most High had it to where you fed our children, right, for alligator bait and all of that, man. You had a good old time with our children, man. Right? And right up until this time, man, you defiled the food and the television system and all of that. You see the little Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that grow up into this society, man. It's a sickening factor, man. Man, I had to deal with some of them little kids, man. 16-year-old, right? Little 16-year-old, 17-year-old little kid, man. Right? I'm damn near a decade older than these little motherfuckers, and they got the nerve to speak to me in a manner like that, man. All right? See, but that all goes back to Esau, man. That all goes back to that red devil, man. That's going to be wiped off of the face of the earth, man. All right? Says here, and I will sell your sons and your daughters, right, into the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to the people far off. See, ultimately, man, the best commodity that you can sell to another person is another human being, man. And that's what we're gonna go back into. That's the spirit we're gonna be going into, man. See, we're gonna have your people, right, as a possession, as doth saith the scripture in Isaiah the 14th chapter. They shall possess right, the people of whom they were a possession, something to that effect. All right, but when we have you as a possession, guess what, man? We're gonna be trading you. Right, we're gonna be trading you. You're gonna be like a stock market with you Edomites, man. All right, you know, after that 1,000 years, you know, hardcore captivity that we're gonna have these other nations in. All right, you know, they're gonna come a period. They're gonna set up their own thing. All right, we're gonna be, I'll take your daughters, man. You can have an Edomite. Edomite's gonna build your thing up, man. Right, build your palaces and all of that up, man. But guess what? You're still gonna pay me tax, man. Right, 40, 50%, maybe 60%. All right, you don't know how exactly that the Most High is gonna have this thing play out, but we know here what it says in the scriptures. It says there, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell you to the Sabian, to a people far off. For the Lord has spoken it. So we're gonna be trading you like how just like you traded us with these different nations. We're gonna be trading you, man. All right, you're gonna be the least of the heathens. See, you're gonna have heathens that are gonna be like bricklayers, masons. All right, you're gonna have welders and carpenters and all of that, man. Esau's gonna be waste management, man. Like I said, man, you like management so goddamn much, man. You could be in charge of managing the waste, man. The shit that these different nations shit, man. You can manage that, all right? Right, all of the rubbish that's gonna be accomplished. Right, you're gonna have to manage that. All of those dead bodies are gonna come by way of the nuclear missile, the nuclear war that's gonna happen. You're gonna have to manage that. Since you like management so goddamn much, when you manage that, man. Right, when the Lord comes back, you can manage that, man. Right, manage the waste. Manage the waste is gonna come by way of the nuclear fire, man. You do that, all right? Because that's gonna be like the most horrible job. You gotta deal with the smell of dead people, man. All kind of dead people's bloods all upon you, man. I don't want to do that shit, man. I'll get some of the slaves to do that, man. I'll get the least of my shit, because you see, you get a high-ranking slave to do that. He's gonna be touching your food. Nah, man, that's unclean, man. You get the least, man. You get the Edomite to do that job, man. And you can have, the Moabites build you up, a house in like a week, man. All right, you get the Moabites to do all of that, man. You get some, them Africans. You have them, cultivate some land and all of that, because their nature is to be out in the wild. You can have them cultivate the land. Them Hamitic women, that you have them cultivate the land. But you Edomites, the least, man. All right, we're gonna have you for sport, man. Okay. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, right, and make up the mighty men. All right. It says, let all men of war draw near, let them come up. Right? It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. All right. So you got these nations like Iran, right? That's exactly what they're doing, man. They were the so-called oil exporters and all of that, which is what the modern day, turning off the field. Right, that's why it says your plowshares. Right, so if you put in modern day terms, they would have been they deal with the oil and that. That's like the modern day farming and that, because you still take it out of the ground. Alright? But the Most High said it to where, no. The Most High said it to where he said, man, no, don't do that no more. Right? Beat your plowshares into swords now. It's not a time of farming and cultivating and trading and that. It's a time of war, man. So the Most High he's putting that spirit to these different nations to where they're getting ready for war. And one of the big things out here right now is whether America is going to allow it to where Iran obtains that nuclear bomb, man. Because these elites, man, you gotta know about the elites, right? The so-called banking elites, they work on both sides, man. They pay both sides off, man. Right? They're gonna give a certain amount of money to the Americans to get to amass, right? Whatever weaponry they're gonna amass, right? He's gonna have it to where the so-called Middle Eastern countries they get their military together, so to speak, man. Right? Because these elites, they play on both sides. They did the same thing in the First World War, the Second World War, and you're damn straight they're gonna try to do the same thing in the Third World War. But see, they are not gonna achieve their results, right? They're not gonna achieve their results, right? That they want to achieve this time. All right. See, what they want to achieve this time is depopulating the earth, right? Right up into to that 500,000 number, which they brought in on the Georgia Guidestones. All right. But guess what? The Most High might allow it for the population to go down that low, but that's because he's at it to where that goes at, man. Because we know a lot of people's gonna go down, gonna get dropped, right, in the times to come, right? And the scripture says it's gonna come a time when a man's gonna desire to see another man's face because because you're gonna have it to where a lot of people's gonna drop dead in the nuclear missiles, man. All right. It says, proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, right? Let all men of war draw near, let them come up. It says, beat your plowshares